So I don't know whether you were part of some of our programs or not, but many programs Edudevs and Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham did jointly. And
Yes.
great to have you. Pay our regards to your principal, but it's always good to have the academic heads on the panel because, you know, they
Yes,
face
ma'am.
the heat. They face the heat. They are on fire. So I think we really have the right person. And from the student community, I think are our students there. I think Sudhir sir is always very happy to, interact with students. I can see a big smile on his face.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Ankit Mishra, we have Hashir Khan. Hello, Ankit. Hello, Hashir. Good evening. Are you there?
Good evening, ma'am.
I cannot see. Yes. Good evening, Hashir. Welcome. And where is Ankit? So how are you feeling? Are you feeling very proud? Is it a proud moment? Because you're co-moderating the webinar with me. Did you go through, were you, prepared for this? Did Team Edudevs prepare you?
Yes, ma'am. Actually, I'm very excited, ma'am, and I'm very happy.
Excellent. Yes, that's important. Should not have any inhibitions. You should speak your mind. And there are already about 91 participants who are waiting to listen to you. And can I also say a quick hello to Ankit, just for a tech check? Okay. So very quickly.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Ankit. Good evening. Excellent.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening. Welcome to have you on this webinar on blended learning, technology integration. And it's a great privilege to be moderating and interacting with a panel like this. So yeah. Thank you so much, Ankit. And Miss Anu, I would just like to introduce you to.
Thank you, ma'am, for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah. Hi, Anu. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Hello.
Anu, ma'am, you must not, miss out meeting Mr. Sudhir Katumala. Of course, I'll be introducing all of you, in a while. But he represents Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, a great career coach, an advisor on career options to take the right career options. And you being the academic coordinator, I'm sure we could, have, like in DAV, Gurgaon, etc. We've been having a lot of sessions. So of course, we look forward to, maybe sometimes visiting your school or being, be able to interact. So over to you, Sudhir and Miss Anu. And I think we have another 2 minutes you can also use because we normally start at 4-5. Yeah.
Fine, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for the warm welcome. And whenever ma'am invites, we can go there and say hi. Maybe if I'm on work on nearby locations also, I can just say hi to ma'am and come back also. So I can do that, ma'am.
Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Nice to meet you. And I hope so you will come in my school very
Sure.
soon. I
Sure.
want to also meet by face to face.
Absolutely. It's very difficult to take dates from Mr. Sudhir Katumala. So you're fortunate that he is here. Anyway, we'll be communicating with you and for sure look forward to educate and be part of your student community and provide them with whatever we have to offer. Thank you so much. And it's so overwhelming to see that we have a bandwidth of 100 and the entire house is full, I would ask and request Team Edudevs to post a message that in case some people are unable to join, they can always watch live on Facebook. At Team Edudevs, can we have the Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham AV, please? Thank you so much, Team Edudevs, and welcome everyone to this 43rd episode of Futuristic Education. Today's topic is blended learning, combining technology and traditional teaching methodologies. You see, in an era where the world is ever evolving and the education landscape is evolving even more, traditional classrooms with the chalk and talk methodology and instructions can no longer be the sole methodology of imparting knowledge. Whether we use the term blended education, we use the term hybrid, but or not, we are actually on a blended learning platform. Blended learning, which of course is a hybrid approach that combines face-to-face teaching with maximizing learning outcomes with the use of digital tools, resources available. You know, this has emerged as a very, very powerful element in the education system. Blended learning, as I said, combines the best of both the worlds. It empowers students to take charge of their learning by accessing, number one, the online material, by controlling the pace of learning with the help of interactive tools, multimedia. Simultaneously, of course, teachers can tailor their instructions to meet, the individual needs. And now it's time for me to stop because I'm not the right person to talk about blended learning and what it has to offer. Well, before I introduce my panelists, I must talk about one thing, that the National Education Policy clearly states that it is time to take on a policy that is undoubtedly student-centric with the help of with technology enabling the teaching learning process, or what can safely be known as Education 4.0. So without spilling the beans, talking too much, let me introduce you to myself and to the guests. Hello, everyone. I'm Devyani Kapoor, founder, mentor, Edudevs, Upskill Education, and mentor, Edudevs Knowledge Foundation. I am your host and moderator for the day. And I'm delighted to welcome you all to this new episode of Futuristic Education. These are a web series where we constantly deliberate, discuss about the changes that are happening in education sector. What is the need, the current need? What is the scenario that is existing? And this is a joint effort by Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University in collaboration with Edudevs Upskill Education. Both the organizations feel that there is no better way in creating awareness, because awareness is the road to transformation. And that is why it is an effort to call educators, principals, managements, policymakers, and why leave the students behind? Because students it is all about the student learning outcomes. So these webinars normally are city-based. Sometimes we club 2 cities, but today the web series is based from a very, very prominent city, a city which is very close to my heart. Yes, it is Lucknow. The edu leaders are invited to voice their views on pertinent issues, and not just voice, to bring up the challenges that are being faced right inside the classrooms. I'm very happy to introduce to you a panel which is extremely esteemed, which is there live in the education space, and they bring a lot of experience with them on this table. We have with us Ms. Anu Tiwari, who is Academic Coordinator, DAV Public School, Lucknow, and she is a master's in economics. She is a PGT economics. We welcome you, Ms. Anu, to this webisode on blended learning.
Thank you so much, ma'am, and thank you so much, sir. Nice. I feel very nice to meet, and I have got this opportunity to introduce myself. Myself, Anu Tiwari. I am PGT economics teacher from DAV Public School, Lucknow, and I am an academic coordinator also of DAV Public School, Lucknow.
Great. Welcome, Ms. Anu. Happy to have you. We have with us another very seasoned academician, an esteemed panelist, Mr. Sudhir Katumal, who is BTech IIT Madras Electrical Engineering. He is the career counselor from the Office of Chairman Admissions, Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham, Coimbatore. And the story doesn't end there. Sudhir comes with more than 4 years of work experience, primarily into higher education, CSR, NGO, school management. He got a hands-on experience in career guidance sessions, handling counseling teams, training, development, as well as handling the sales and marketing division. I think, Sudhir, welcome, Sudhir, and your illustrious bio will definitely throw a lot of insight on our viewers' questions, and you'll be able to answer so many. Welcome, Sudhir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for the wonderful reflection. Thank you.
And as always, we feel that nothing is incomplete without the students being part of any discussion. They are young, but they are the consumers of tomorrow. They are the change makers. And all discussion is being talked about them. And I'm very pleased to introduce you to Ankit Mishra, class 11th, DAV Public School, Lucknow, and Hashir Khan, a class 12th student, again, from DAV Public School, Lucknow. Let me welcome Ankit, welcome Hashir. Let me also tell you that this is a part of a crash course on internship that they do. You all can apply for Edu Intern. We mentor you, groom you to skills which are the 21st century skills, and help you modify and hone your communication, oratory skills, and exhibit them in front of the world through being a moderator on this very, very prestigious collaborative episode between Edudevs and Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University. Welcome, Ankit. Welcome, Hashim. The format of the show, the webinar, would be there'll be one ice-breaking question, which would be addressed to the panelists. Same question, we would like you to bring in different perspectives. Please don't exceed a 2-minute limit, because there is a lot, there's a 1 hour where we would like to hear you on your specific areas of expertise. So my first question to our panelists, and I would request first Ms. Anu Tiwari to go for it, is that we've been speaking about blended learning. And I just said that, this is a combination of face-to-face and, online mode of learning. Now, Ms. Anu, I would like to ask you that what is the effectiveness of blended learning on students' academic achievement? Does it really help? Do you face any kind of, does it really help? Do you feel that having interventions of blended learning has led to a betterment of student learning outcomes? Yes, Ms. Anu.
Yes, ma'am. I feel that blended learning is very helpful for schools, education and school students, because technology is not day by day growing, and the students should aware about all the techniques and technology methods of studying. So there are so many methods, techniques, which we can implement to the students from technology. Suppose the things which cannot be understood by the students, we can we can use the blended learning method by playing some videos, some games, or some other techniques. There are so many techniques like artificial intelligence and all those things. So with the help of this, the students are day by day, because they are interested in the technological things like e-learning and electronic gadgets. So they can learn from that so many things, and they can learn visualization is more important than audio. So by visualizing the content, they can easily learn, and the memory of the students will get enhanced, and they can also see the practical things. Like suppose there are so many things which cannot be present in the science lab as well as physics labs, but due to the technology, virtual labs are there, and with that, the students, with the help of that virtual lab, students can know each and everything about the topic, the content, and they can go in detail. And students are also very interested. I said that technology is day by day growing up, so students are also interested in the technology. I think so. The traditional method was teachers are teaching on the board like charts using materials, but students are feeling some bored. But due to technology, the education is becoming day by day easier for students as well as for the teachers.
Thank you so much, Anu. Ms. Anu, you have really set the tone for the conversation. That definitely you've done a great comparison between, what were the challenges when teachers were only relying on the traditional chalk and talk methodology, and how it has been. Let's hear out what Mr. Sudhir Katumala has to talk about the effectiveness. What are those 4 or 5 pointers which you feel has enhanced the effectiveness of the student learning outcomes or their achievement? Yes, Mr. Sudhir.
Yes, ma'am. If you ask me, blended learning is just not a mix of online and face-to-face mode, but it refers to a more well-planned and meaningful activities in both the modes. So usually it demands more student-centric approach, if you ask me, because before it usually the teaching methodology which we were following traditionally is teacher-centric. A teacher comes, teaches, and she will understand what are the problems in a single question. She will be asking, have you all understood the topics which we have discussed, and she will be going. But in this blended learning environment, first thing is it increases student engagement, because if you clearly observe, if you ask in a class, have you understood the topic? Everybody used to answer in a group, yes, ma'am, like that they will show. But if you ask in a virtual mode, everybody will give a thumbs up. Everybody will clap. So there is a more engagement factor to the student in this part, and more student teacher interaction. For example, on a traditional way, if I want to put a poll, if I want to ask a question, nobody is ready to share their opinion. They are feeling shy, they are feeling fear. But if you come to this blended learning methodology or this virtual learning, they express their views no matter the outcome, because you're being more anonymous when you're responding to a poll or answering to a question. Usually that happens. So if you just conduct a poll now, for sure every student will answer that poll. And the responsibility of learning is lying with the student more. Now a student needs to understand, so it is my responsibility to sit for the lecture, it is my responsibility to listen to this. So student took more responsibility. It's not like a teacher forced them to sit in the class. They told we will be taking a virtual class, but they took that responsibility of listening to it, and they got time even there at home also. And it automatically increased more learning outcomes, and it's a more flexible approach, as I can say. So these are some of the points. There are a lot which we can discuss maybe while we are discussing about more questions. I will be sharing what all other factors also which enhance these student learning opportunities in the blended learning approach.
Before I move on to Sudhir, another question. You spoke about it. There is a lot of misconception. In my introduction also, I simply said that, it's a blend of face-to-face and online. When Miss Anu spoke, she spoke about, okay, we can show videos, we can this. But I think there is a lot which can happen in blended learning. I'm very tempted, and I don't want to break this. So I would want you to talk about two things. One, how our educators inculcate some simple ways of inculcating blended learning, because as you said, these are the most painstaking points, that student engagement doesn't happen when it's a one-way transaction. That is something which is quite demonstrated. Student engagement happens. And second is that there is more interaction between a teacher and a student. Somewhere that means attentiveness of the student is more. So, can you just throw a little more light on what exactly is blended learning? How best a school teacher with 2-3 simple ways can take it in her classroom?
Yes, ma'am. See, usually, as I told before, the role of a learner is more in blended learning environment. That means a student role is more. And while integrating this technology in terms of lessons, a teacher must understand these are not something which information or some case study when they are going to teach. It should not be easily accessible to the students. Straight away, they go to Google and search, what is this? They should not get the answer. Today, teachers need to be more smarter than that, because today students are using ChatGPTs to get the answers and all. So we need to understand or compile assignments or case studies or projects in such a way it's not a single answer. It's a complex problem or a complex project where students need to use the online resources for sure. That means they use computers to look up information. You can ask them, go search in Google what exactly happened and all, or what kind of information or data you can collect for this topic. So, and compile it, and then consolidate it, and then submit it. I don't want exact full page report. You just take whatever resources you have and then consolidate it, and you do your proper own research and do it. So this is just for a learning part, but assessment part is a huge part where a teacher can do wonders. Actually, today the main disadvantage of a student, the disadvantage of a teacher actually is more time occupied in assessing the student answer sheets. It's a big headache taking these answer sheets to home and correcting them. We don't know what's the mood of the teacher, and the student waits for 1 week or 2 weeks for a feedback of his test, and this 1 week is learning time is lost. And there are lots of assessment tools a teacher can use. For example, a tool called Mathia that can be used for mathematics teachers. There are a lot of tools, and they can use these tools. The feedback is instant, and the evaluation is instant. A student can get the results straight away after the test without any delay, and there is no delay in understanding the gaps, because the main job role of a teacher is to understand where the student is facing issues in which topic, to give that proper feedback. These tools can deliver it within a second of the completion of the exam. So these tools, they can do it. First, I will say, start with assessing students using this technology oriented tools. That can help them a lot, because integrating these tools in learning might take more time, because for that teachers need to be very much ready to actually understand how these people are learning through online methodologies and all. First, I will suggest every teacher or a principal to adapt assessments online first. So get this analysis and results online. Then slowly the learning part also, they will be getting it on their own pace, because we have flexibility. Because in blended learning, it's not only about learning completely online and all, it's a mix as I told. And now, a lot of students today usually say, I don't have access to smartphone, there is a digital divide. These are all just if I can say, maybe I will agree with 20% of the students say I don't have access. But if they want to play a game, watch a movie, they will have access to smartphone. If they want to learn something, they don't have access to smartphone. So usually the student will find a way to access a smartphone if they want to use it for their extracurricular activities. But for education, they won't find a smartphone. Usually the cause they will, this piece students will be telling, this is the reason I'm not having a smartphone. So usually 80% or 70% of our students have access to smartphones, and they have internet availability also. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you so much, Sudhir, because one thing which you said, and I want to reiterate that and bring it home to all the teachers, is that what we've done is we've adopted and adapted to teaching methodologies, as ma'am was also saying, when it comes to, teaching. But we must start from assessments, small assessments on quizzes or Padlet or so many other, using those small tools where you can check on whether the student has learned a concept or not. And second, what I gauged out from your what you said was that we must understand that it is far beyond just a blend of offline and online. The teacher has to put a lot of effort in planning the lesson. And when it comes to planning the lesson, she needs to integrate small little assessments of concept tests kind of a thing online. And once this has been integrated, I think life in a classroom will become much easier. Thank you so much, Sudhir. Thank you so much for these insights. So moving on to Miss Anu Tiwari. Anu ma'am, tell me, you're saying that, videos are there, other things are there, gaming, and, how you've been using the blended learning. Just when you are an academic coordinator, and what are some of the challenges that you face, and what are the opportunities that emerge when you people are using, when you're transitioning from traditional classroom to a hybrid classroom? So what is it that, दो challenge ऐसे कौन से हैं जो you actually face while using them? Yes.
Ma'am, when I am teaching in traditional method, the students, as sir told, that students say yes, yes, yes. They will say, and they really feel very boring, and the energy level is very low. And if we will play that content on PPT mode or in video form, they are very enjoying and interesting. They learn by enjoying. It means to say that traditional method was simply teacher centered method, and nowadays with the blended learning, that a mixture of online and offline learning, students also enjoy. And according to NEP, now we are following child centered education. So I feel very much challenges when I'm teaching on Blackboard. Students say, "Ma'am, bas karo, ab nahi, bahut ab kitna yaad kare." So this all the challenges I face. But full chapter, if I teach in the smart class or the projector, they feel energy and they say, "Ma'am, please continue." They don't feel bored and they really enjoy, and they are able to also answer each and every question and all the concept clarity. I think so that from teacher centered method to child centered method, all the concepts clarity, because when child feel energetic, they will really enjoy, and whatever they don't need to by heart or do ratification or rote memorizing, but through videos and through projector or smart class, they really enjoy. They feel that this some things are new, and they are able to remember that things till so many days or till exam. But you will explain in board, then I feel that I am getting problem that they are not writing proper answers while assessing the paper.
Ma'am, one thing, what I want to know is, you are an economics, teacher. So
Yes, ma'am.
economics, definitely the syllabus in probably 11th is more theory, but 12th is a lot of application.
Yes,
Any
ma'am.
suggestion to the educators where you would have used technology uh, as part of any one concept, where you felt that the students were given a homework, where the data, as Sudhir sir was talking about, that how they can be asked to not just pick up data from Google, but to analyze, or to koi wo example that if you could share with our teachers.
Yes,
So
ma'am, sure. In microeconomics, there is one chapter, consumer behavior. If I am teaching in NCRT or by other references book, they don't understand the concept, how the law of diminishing margin utility decline, and how demand increase, how supply, that they don't analyze. But in the form of graph, in the form of PPT, I used to explain, then able to understand, and they remember that certain things, when demand increase, when demand decrease, when the consumer's taste and preferences change, they able to answer all the things. So I feel that traditional method is also good, but day by day I said that technology, and sir also told that students are smarter than teacher. They directly do Google and they answer all the questions. So but due to technology, I feel that it is a one positive point for the teachers to explain all the things to the student. There are certain so many things that the students at that level cannot understand what we want to explain, because the way of teaching, the way of method depends from person to person. But by showing the PPT or videos, and we get from YouTube's or any other sources, they able to understand each and everything. So in economics, I use like consumer behavior, producer behavior, and like money and banking, what is money, what is foreign exchange, and how the reserve bank keep reserves as by lending the monies to commercial bank. At this time, I am using PPT and I'm explaining the students that, and they are able to understand and they are able to answer also very well.
talking about PPT, is there any other tool that you're using? Like, there's a lot
Yes,
of
ma'am.
advantages.
Like videos, and for primary sections, like there are some games like A is word, and you have to search with the pictures. They will play games and they will answer the all questions, like quizzes. For 11th and 12th commerce, we have preparing the quizzes, so many quizzes that they are getting a mark, certain points, and they are interesting in that all quiz, and they are also participating. In my school there are so many quiz activities conducted, and they are participating and then scoring good marks. They also get where they done mistake, where they have done mistake, where they also realize what was the mistake, and it is explained by the teachers. So this is the opportunities. I think that with blended learning, this is the best opportunity or best platform to motivate the child engagement in blended
Oh,
learning.
thank you so much, ma'am. That was really, really insightful about, and I'm sure our viewers would have taken note of it. Mr. Sudhir, I would want to ask you and would want you to again come up, because I think substantiating an argument with examples is the best way to making everyone understand. So one of the role of technology, and when we're talking about a blended learning, in collaboration, communication, critical thinking, skills among students, owning those skills among students through a blended learning setting. So if you could tell, or maybe with the help of probably, as Anu ma'am was speaking about the virtual labs. So, you could actually talk about how technology could be best used, maybe giving an example of the Amrita's O labs.
Yes, ma'am. So usually, ma'am, what role this blended learning setting actually sets for students is actually opportunity for collaboration. If you look at a distance, individual students working together, virtually interacting, they can be sharing more ideas actually, because there is nothing stopping them. Why? Because there is more flexibility, increased flexibility. Like technology and enabled learning usually allows learning anytime, anywhere, letting students without the barriers of time and location, and there is in-person engagement whenever it is required. First thing is the flexibility of this setting is learn at any time, learn from anywhere, learn from anyone. So there is no stopping. So for first point, if you wanted to talk about this, and the second one is it has an increased interaction. Actually, if you see, there is a greater interactivity between the students and between the teachers and between any other collaborators who are there in that meet, or because everybody is sharing their opinions, everybody is getting their feedback in a simultaneous manner. And the third one will be it enhances more learning actually, because if you ask me, students usually in these days, I mean before COVID, all of them were behind marks. So only after COVID they understood, no, marks are not important, because they all gave a pass grade for all the COVID batches. Then only they understood, okay, if everybody is having P, what am actually, how can we differentiate with that guy who is to be a dull student but he is also pass? Then only everybody got this, everybody got stuck with this, and they thought, okay, this is not the actual thing. We need to concentrate on other skills. Other things are very much important than these marks, because then only the COVID thing which helped is only making people realize marks are not the only thing. Because of the grades they got that year, everybody was COVID pass. So and everybody is having this grade on grade books only pass mark. So then only they realize. And learning to protect themselves or ability to communicate in an effective way and inquiring about their questions in a virtual mode actually can make them learn about various technologies. For example, a student interacting with somebody from a different state where they are using a different tool, and he can easily make this student learn. Actually, that integration happens very easily. For example, a student using an Excel, they both are working on an Excel, they both came virtually. They're like, okay, I just want to sort out, somebody is saying, I just want to sort out this Excel, this data. He can explain it instantly, and another student can say, okay, this is what you need to do, just select everything and you can sort out. or if they can make a presentation virtually sitting from different locations. They can just share their screens, they can work on the presentation virtually. So that collaboration happens seamlessly and without any effort. That's what I will be saying. But the main thing which these students need to understand is it's not that easy to adapt this blended learning approach, and there are lots of difficulties also, lots of advantages and disadvantages also are there. But the thing is, it's the way forward. Actually, a student needs to, actually he's looking forward to learn in this approach or showing interest only in this approach. They already lost interest in this rote learning, because if you ask me, before 2 years back, the main agenda of a student is to remember more content, by heart more content, or mug up more content. But now the scenario is recollect it, not remember. How better you can recollect it, because anyway the data is available online, but you need to search for it. What you want, you need to search for it, and you need to get the right information. It's not only about having full knowledge by having the whole data, by having the whole things, but you should understand what you need. You should understand as a student what you need to search for, what kind of tools that are available, how I can learn from it, how I can use it for my education. So these are the things, because there are lots of tools available, and students, they won't do research how I can learn it effectively. A lot of other students are doing, because if you take during COVID, 360 million, I think students' education was hampered. If you ask me, how many of them adapted to this online learning? Only 50%.
Right.
Only 50% people, if you can say, they are adapted to online learning. Remaining 50, maybe because of the gaps, or maybe because of the digital divide, or maybe because they were not interested. So there are a lot of reasons. So these remain the 50% who adapted it, the blended learning approach of getting the information online, or using these tools for their education, will be having a benefit in the coming days for sure.
Right. I think extremely well said that the benefits of blended learning, because it will not be now driven by the old methodologies, the whole education environment, or I would say the world scenario. As I earlier said, the ever-changing landscape of education with the intervention of AI and other things. Now, this brings me to another thing where I want you to also talk about that. How does national education policy very loudly talks about technology being the enabler, and it has put certain pointers to be integrated. How well does blended learning align with national education policy's vision?
Yes, ma'am. Should I answer that?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Yeah. See, ma'am, the national education policy actually promotes digital learning and education. So, but there are challenges to it, because if you ask me, the curriculum is still not up to the mark to adapt those changes. It's still an old curriculum that's there. They are trying to change it, but we need to see when it will be open to the students, or when the schools will adapt those curriculums. So first thing I will say, NEP is promoting blended learning approach, but if you take how much implementation can be feasible, there is work to be done. So for one such example is changing the curriculum, and the second one is lack of support from governments. I don't think any government will go down and practically understand the school needs and help them. So I don't see in any manner it's going to happen for sure. They won't be doing that. Maybe some schools they will do it for namesake also. And but one main challenge I have observed is poor collaboration between teachers, or less commitment from the teachers. After pandemic is done, some of them moved out of these online tools also. They are like, okay, now COVID is over, everybody is coming to classes. What is the use of it? So, and that needs to be changed. And One reason that might be is because schools might not be providing the aids and equipment for them. So that might be the reason also. So we don't know, but not every teacher adapted to it. I mean, 50% of them adapted, but 50% of them still not in that mode to accept. Now COVID is over, it's only physical. I'm not going to do these virtual classes again. It's done. It's in the past. So they usually think. But one thing they need to understand is our world is changing at a constant pace. Every domain is getting influenced or affected by these changes, and we need to understand there are demands for these students in terms of technological knowledge or what they are learning in this current day scenario. So giving to this emergence, giving to this importance, NEP states that it should promote digital learning and education, and the importance of face-to-face in-person learning is also fully recognized. Okay, so this is what I can say, but NEP is actually looking forward to have more blended learning approach, but we need to wait and see how feasible it is in all levels or for all the stakeholders involved.
Yes, what you said really makes sense, because NEP is looking forward to technology integration, blended learning. But somewhere the curriculum will be re-envisioned or rewritten to, and it is talking about blended learning is one thing. It is talking about interdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, but we are still using the subject-based chapter,
For example, ma'am, I just want to,
divided textbooks. So jab tak
Oh,
that will not be, yeah.
I just want to explain. For example, in a textbook, a teacher's role, I mean, while taking a subject, they are in a hurry to cover the syllabus, usually. And if in a textbook itself, a blended learning topic is given, I mean, the textbook, complete textbook is having an activity of blended learning, automatically it will happen in every school. So that's what needs to be changed first, then it will automatically happen.
And secondly, one good thing you said, that yes, the teacher attitude, because ultimately it is the teachers who are the drivers of NEP. NEP otherwise is a very robust, very beautifully lofty visioned document, but the real drivers are teachers. So their attitude. Thank you so much, Sudeep. Thank you so much, Ms. Anu Tiwari. I will hand over now the stage to my co-moderator, Hashir and Ankit. Yes, Hashir, over to you now. Yeah, from here, Hashir and Ankit will be moderating the event. Over to you.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Hello,
Good
yeah.
evening. Yeah, continue.
So first of all, it's my pleasure to introduce myself in front of you all. I am Hasir Khan from the class 12 and from DAV Public School. Firstly, I would like to thank Edudevs and Divyani ma'am for giving me this opportunity through Edu Intern. I'm very obliged to be part of this webinar. Sir, today I have been given this opportunity to ask few questions which have been in my mind for quite some time. So my first question is for Sudhir sir. Sir, with the rise of blended learning, how can students strike a balance between face-to-face interactions and online learning experiences to create a cohesive and effective learning environment?
Okay, sure. See, one thing you need to understand. See, blended learning actually, it's as I told, it's a mix of these things, and it will offer a multitude of skills that you can learn actually as a student, and it translates directly to you. There is no middleman, or there is no other things you need to do to learn these skills. For example, a research skill. How many of you are doing research about whatever you want learning? Or if you ask me, an example of take a topic like if all of your science or commerce students searching for a topic online and learning more about that will increase if you have this approach. I mean, a research oriented skills, that is what is required, as I told. And the second thing is, you will have a skill of a self learning. Nobody needs to push, because if you see in the class, 50% or 20% of you are not at all interested to sit in the class. Maybe your teacher is forcing you to sit in the class. So in virtual classes, if you are interested only, you will listen. Otherwise, you will keep the mobile and you will keep go away. I mean, in virtual learning methodology. So you are more self-oriented, self-engaged, or self-learning. And self is the driving force, actually. Whatever things we do in our life, until unless we own it, until unless we align ourselves to it, no learning will happen. Usually people think, I just need to just mug up some things. It won't happen until unless you align your personality. Look at any successful person in the world. In, apart from the skills, take a movie actor, take a sports person, or take a politician. In spite of the skills they have that are required for that career, they completely align their life towards their goal. So that is what will happen more, and you do better decisions. It will increase your better decision making, and you will have a more sense of responsibility or more literacy. So it will actually will be a help to you. It will be very much strikes balance between both, because it's a meaningful combination of both, a face-to-face mode and an online based mode. So there are a lot of factors, as I told you. You can manage your time, there's flexibility, there is self-based paced learning. So all these things will help you balance it in a proper way and help you learn these things in a better way. Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Ankit, over to you now.
Yes, Harshit, go ahead. You can ask Anu ma'am. Is Anu ma'am there?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Please, Harshit, go ahead. It's a rare opportunity when you question your teacher.
Okay, ma'am.
Go for it.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, Harshil.
So, ma'am, my question is to you this. How has the students' experience transformed with the blended learning, and what facts and achievements?
See, blended learning has the potential to enhance students by the learning using digital technology to meet different learning preferences. Okay, the result shows that students have significantly a different experience of a blending learning model in terms of engagement, online experience, flexibility, as Sir told, flexibility of learning, and self-confidence. Blended learning helps students to increase their motivation to learn a language, practicing empathy, self-decision making, be patient when taking part in conversation, thinking critically, and communicate based on experience. So, according to me, blended learning is a process that combines face-to-face learning with online learning to produce valid, effective, and efficient learning. As Sir told, that virtual learning, students who are not interested, they will not sit. It's really true. I agree with this, because I also face that in classroom, students traditional method uh, keeps the students that forcefully to the students. But as Sir told earlier to the ma'am, that NEP is there, but so many force is required to implement it. I really agree, sir, that really NEP, because as a teacher, we are thinking to just cover the syllabus. But whatever the concepts, we want to really keep knowledge to the students regarding that. We won't get the time. So the curriculum should be changed for implementing the child-centered education, and NEP should work very much on that, so that curriculum change is very much required if the full blended learning process is required.
Thank you, ma'am, for the answer. This was all my questions. Now, Ankit, is over to you now.
Is Ankit there? No. I don't think so. Ankit is there, but that's fine. And I think we come, thank you, Ashir. And we come to the end of this very, very beautiful and insightful session where we understood, as Mr. Sudhir threw light on, the first myth about blended learning is, let's not take it just a blend of online and face-to-face classroom. It is not just about showing videos and PPTs. No, it is about creating an engagement between the teacher and the student. It is about using technology to help students to research, to critically analyze, and as Mr. Sudhir very rightly said, that transform the rote learning to recollect and reinvent, I would rather say, envision the information which you have seen. So there are many parameters the NEP have introduced and spoken about technology being the greatest enabler. They have given us a roadmap. And as I earlier said, the extra mile has to be walked by the schools, by the teachers, because if you want to stand tall, if you want to create 21st century students, if you want to dispense a 21st century curriculum, which of course is not textbook driven, not content driven, it is competencies driven. So the teacher's mindset has to be first changed. Their attitude towards technology has to be changed. And more than using technology for pedagogic delivery, for teaching methodology, we encourage and recommend to use technology first for small assessments of the concept you teach. With this, we come to an end of a very, very important issue. More, you will hear more because we were in conversations, both Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham and Edudevs feels that this is going to be an era not just of education 4.0, but soon we are stepping into education 5.0, education in metaverse. The futuristic education will never stop, and we will be talking and making you aware more about how technology can best be used, how technology can be leveraged on the best possible learning outcomes of the students. With this, I urge Mr. Sunil Katumala and Ms. Anu Tiwari to give their one last resting statement on today's episode. Yes, Mr. Sudhir.
Yes, ma'am. So as I deliberated in the previous answers, it's a challenge actually. First challenge is for teachers. The next challenge is for learners, because the teachers usually think it's easy to do this blended learning approach, but the challenge is to design an effective this blended learning course with the outcomes, the learning objectives and outcomes and assessments is a hard task. It's not a simple job. A teacher first need to have a clear vision, what they want to do with these tools and all. Before that, they should not do it. Actually, how they can use these online platforms, tools effectively to bring out the outcomes, whatever is required actually to make them learn. And the second challenge, if I say students, as I told before, it's completely oriented by self-initiation. This blended learning approach, it's a self-initiated kind of a learning approach. Until unless students have a high level of self-regulation and digital literacy and responsibility towards this learning, because self-regulation is very much important, because today they need to able to plan, monitor, evaluate their own learning in this approach sometimes. So this is a hard thing for these people. Sometimes there is a disadvantage of isolation. If it's not properly planned, students will feel isolated. So the face-to-face and online should be planned in such a way, both actually what you can say, well integrated in learning, making the students learn new things. So I say students use these tools in the coming days, teachers use these tools. Otherwise, you will be at a disadvantage in the coming days if you are not learning about these tools or learning through these tools, because every student, every corporate, every industry is trying to integrate technology into their domains. So please keep learning more about these technological tools, and it will help you to a greater benefit. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Very beautifully put. Over to you, Ms. Anu Tiwari. What will be your last resting statement and a message to our audience?
Ma'am, I can say that blending learning empowers the students by building their capacity and communicating. They also improve the ability thinking of the students. But as sir told, that teachers also have to work hard. So yes, it is a one thing that teacher also have to change their methods and patterns according to the technology and the blending learning process. So it is a very difficult task, but we cannot say that older method of teaching can improve. They are also disadvantaged that that students cannot aware of so many technologies and so many things which can come by this blended learning also. So really teachers also have to work hard, and students are day by day smarter, becoming smarter. So it creates disadvantages for the teacher also. So both teachers also have to work on it. It is not as possible as certain changes day by day. We will also keep on changing according to the technology. And now day by day, I think so in many of the schools, blended learning process has adapted, but there are also some schools like some monetary factors or other issues that schools are not implementing and not motivating the child for blended learning. But it is a great instrument and parameters that the students can get so many ideas, and so many the students can also become so many creativity, and they can do and they can enhance their learning mental ability skills, they can improve their skills and everything. But the disadvantage that, as a sir told, that teachers also have to work. So it's really then teacher also have to work on it, and they have to also focus on new technologies.
Thank you so much, Anu ma'am. That was a great message to the teachers that, you need to walk that extra mile. You need to not just adopt, but adapt to the 21st century skills, in which one of the greatest skills is technology, if they want to stand tall in front of the 21st century student. And with this, we come to an end of this show. Thank you so much for sparing and taking time out from your busy schedules and helping our viewers to be educated in the current topic. And with this, we would urge, please don't leave without watching the last AV of the episode. Team Edudevs, please play the AV. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ms. Anu Tiwari. Thank you so much, Sudhir, for joining in.
Thank you,
And
ma'am.
we hope, Ms. Anu, that we will be collaborating with you and helping your students in their journey from good to great. And we are always, Edudevs and Amrita Vishwa Vidyapeetham University are always there to support the student learning and development cause. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Nice to meet you.